Let's get it. 3, 2. F the culture. It's yours truly, Poetically, and it's time to break the noise and reclaim our truth, grounding ourselves in what it means to be just Americans first. Whether you like it, whether you love it, whether you hate it, whether you just don't give a fuck, it all matters. It all matters. That F, it may kind of, bring some little bit tension. It may kind of disappoint some of you. It may kind of feel like disrespect to some of you. But then that F may feel like fuck it, may feel rebellious, may feel empowering, may feel like the thing that you need to hear, the thing that needs to be heard, the thing that's been needed to be said. It's time for the truth speakers. It's time for the ones that, make the room shake a little. Yeah, it's time to ruffle some feathers. Ruffle the whole nest, if you will. Because where are we going as people? Who are we? Are we having an identity crisis as people in America? United States. I think about the world, right? And this is where I have to speak. This is where I have to speak from and as a man of color, a melanated man from the South. The world wants to hear from us the most. What's really going on? Are you ignorant as as sometimes the media makes you seem, as you arrogant as the media makes you seem, are you so detached? Are you so this? Who are we? And it's time to really, we have our art, we have our music, we have our culture. That's why this is F the culture. Because are we freeing ourselves, or are we just fucking ourselves into thinking that we're really not really just doing anything? I come with my notes as an artist. Again, Poetically, Poeticle, and this is Monday through Wednesday, 7 a.m. right here on YouTube. We're getting it started off. We're getting it rolling, getting it punching through, because I want to punch you in the gut. I want to challenge the narratives. I want to be able to push the limit of who we are as people, who we can be for the next generations to come, who we are as a society, right? If we are as one, and we're making moves as one, and we're having to be seen as one, then what does that one move and look like? And how are we being honest with ourselves? So I come with my notes. I'm writing things because it's important to me. This is important to bring light to. And one of the things I was writing is about the identity crisis we have in America. And I was writing to myself, we love to call ourselves the land of the free, right? The land of the free. That right there is how we begin to gaslight ourselves. And that right there is how we begin to manipulate and twist the narrative of who we are as people. Home of the opportunity. But let's be real. This country has always been two things at once. A place of promise for some, and a place of pain for many. And that's a place of promise for some and a place of pain for many, because that pain isn't being identified. That pain isn't being told truthfully. That pain isn't being upheld, embraced. The promise, is it being just held on to by greed, or is it allowed to be a thing of the heart, a thing of the spirit for the land to be for all? Is that the truth of who we are as people? Even if you don't even agree, you can still have it in your heart to let it be. But or would you rather just cause to tear shit up? Right? One of the things, and this is just something, right? The paradox that we have in America's founding. We preach freedom, equality, but this country is built on stolen land, stolen people, stolen labor, stolen lives. And I put here, it's a nightmare. It's a nightmare we're still waking up from. It's a nightmare. We're traumatizing ourselves. And how do people deal with that trauma? It's so many, we'll get into psychology, I'm sure, down the line here. I'm sure. However, when I think about this, people respond to trauma in so many different ways. People, they rationalize it. They combat it. They sweep it under the rug. They manipulate it. They do so much with it. And when I think about that, I think about what are we doing to ourselves here in America? When we talk about the root of our crisis and the root of our identity crisis, the manipulation, the violence, the greed. A nation built on manipulation. Think about that. A nation built on manipulation. Rewriting history to make the villains look like heroes. I wrote a few, present day manipulations, right? The political manipulation. We see it in every election cycle, pitting us against each other so we forget the real enemies. The systems, not the people. The systems, not the people. Corporate greed. We're sold products, lifestyles, dreams that come at the expense of someone else's freedom or livelihood. We know that. Yeah, I'm wearing products right now, right? So am I helping the problem? I have to at least be able to have some kind of boundaries with it. Now this shit is old as hell. I ain't gonna lie to you. It's old as hell. But that's it though. I do have a limit on, okay, what am I gonna buy here? How much am I gonna buy here? Who am I buying from? You're gonna see the God Body hoodies in a minute. You're gonna see the God Body hoodies in a minute. This might be the last time you see this. I might blur this out actually. Historical erasure. We don't even teach the truth about America's past. Because if we did, it would force us to look in the mirror and face what we've become. Truly face what we've become. Through that manipulation, through that violence, through that greed that lives in our veins. It lives in us. Every single one of us has it in some form or fashion. How are we dealing with it? And how are we truly seeing the world and understanding that we are part of this? And how we conduct ourselves ultimately affects the energies and frequencies of what's conducted out here. It does. Me being able to conduct my energy and frequency to deliver this message, and however many people see it, that then start to realize and then start to, okay, maybe they heard it from this person, they heard it from this person, they hear it, now they hear it from me, or they hear it from me, and it starts to go down another rabbit hole. That is how it moves. And that's how we have to move. You know, a lot of people say, how does this identity crisis affect all of us? And here's the hard truth. The manipulation, violence, and greed that's built this country, they don't just live in the systems. Of course, as I say, they live in us, whether we admit it or not. We've inherited this legacy, and now we project it onto each other. Black men, black women pointing fingers instead of addressing systematic issues together. Communities failing to realize the synergy and falling into the trap of competition rather than collaboration. America's blaming the other side instead of examining how they've contributed to the problem. This isn't just about politicians, right? This isn't just about billionaires. This is literally about the soil of who we are in our ever existence. That's why this is F the culture. Because F your every existence of what you thought this was and what you think this is. This is a moving piece of history that is forming in your hands, being told through your eyes, and listening to how you're moving and acting and establishing yourself in this country. The world is listening to us and vibrating off us. Who are we going to show up as people? How have we been gaslighting ourselves with the American dream? Telling ourselves we're living the American dream, but who is it? A dream for who? Because for a lot of us, it feels like we're living in survival. Trying to climb out of holes we didn't even dig. Trying to climb out of holes we didn't even dig. They say if you work hard, you'll succeed. But that only applies if the system is built to let you succeed. For to me, the system was designed to keep them out. The nerve. The American dream was never for us all. It was for some of us, and we've been trying to force it to work for everyone since. And that that's what stings. That's what stings. Because you're told if you work. We keep pushing this capitalistic mindset. You'll succeed. But why are we pushing ourselves to get out of a hole that we did not dig? I'm not saying somebody should come save us. However, I'm saying let's recognize and let's call something for what it really is, and let's start to really move some things around so that everything can flow with true justice. That's what I'm saying. No, I don't think that I don't think you should just be lazy in life and things should come to you. But I think we have to admit that this society is kind of fooling ourselves on why things are the way they are. It's a hard conversation. This is what F the culture is about. It's about challenging the narrative. It's about having these hard conversations and what it means to be American. For my melanated people, we should be proud. And I'm going to say it. We should be proud to be American because of what we've built, endured, survived, thrived, and continue to fuel and feed this country with. This is us. It's not about a race thing. It's no disrespect to anybody else, but this is us in the totality of what fuels and feeds this country. So when we're defining the American identity, let's be truthful about it. What does it really mean to be American? Because right now, it feels like we're just a collection of people that exist on some land. And it's some big business. America is truly becoming a business now. it's truly becoming a business now. We want to be seen as innovative. We really do. We want to be seen as innovative, but we're still stuck in old destructive ways. Whether we are seen or not, we're still stuck in old destructive ways from ancient times of destruction. It's just grown. The colonization has just grown. The mindset of thievery have just grown. That's what a snake does. So how do we hold up the mirror? How do we hold up the mirror as Americans? And here's the truth. Here's the truth we avoid. The roots of manipulation, violence, greed, how they're alive and growing through each and one of us. Instead of uprooting them, we hide them. We justify them. We point fingers. So before we start to keep calling each other out, and yeah, we wanna be call out truth, right? Though in us calling that truth out, how are we contributing to that? How are we contributing to our communities? If you calling out this politician, how are you contributing to your community so that you know that you're holding them accountable? If you're calling this brand, this business out, well, how are you then saying, okay, well, I'm going to make sure that people know to purchase from somewhere else as well, to still fuel and feed the culture? Even for my melanated community, for melanated women and men, I want us to come from this election cycle, right? Understand it's not just about politics. It's about reclaiming our place in defining what it means to be American. Reclaiming our place in defining what it means to be American. Instead of creating more divides, instead of being able to keep pushing us away and keep, disturbing the frequency, it's time to really understand how we're together. It's time to really be locked in. Be honest about the past, redefine success, and take responsibility. Take the responsibility. It's time to create a new culture. It's time to create a new culture. It's time to reimagine who we are together as people. Where we can go, where we should be, how do we get there? Who are we calling out? How are we calling them in? How are we letting ourselves heal as one? These are the things that we're going to talk about in F the culture, because for me, I believe, yeah, I'm going to win. Right? I know I'm going to win. It's a knowing. And that's what we have to have as people, a knowing. that we're together, knowing that we can sit and listen to each other. But it starts with the food, because our frequency is thrown off there. It starts with the music, because our frequency is thrown off there. It starts with the entertainment, because our frequency is thrown off there. So now we have to be real about everything that we're consuming and how that's throwing us off. If you know you're sick, you know you're sick. If you know what you consume, then you know you're sick. You know that you're talking to a sick person. If you're healed, or if you're aware, you know you're talking to a sick person. You know we have sick people out here. So how are we nourishing it? How are we noticing the greed, and how are we noticing the manipulation that's taking over these people and poisoning their minds, and actually making people be delusional and continue this delusion of a world we exist in? It's not fair. It's not right. As a truth speaker, I can't continue to walk by and see the delusions be a part of it. That only makes me more delusional. We gotta talk about it. So thank you for listening. This is Poetically, Poeticle. This is F the Culture right here on Life is Poetic TV. And we're here every day breaking the noise and reclaiming the truth.